Okay, so we are just from talking about functions and how they operate in C++. So we are still in week 2. Then we've discussed about functions. So let's understand how wow statements work in C++. So this is the lecture slide we're using, or the handout. So we've talked about functions, and as I said, so we are starting up the wow statements in C++. So first of all, I'm going to create a folder on my desktop which is written wow statement. So once that is done, I'm going to open up Visual Studio Code, and then inside Visual Studio Code I'm going to say open folder, and then the folder is on the desktop. It's wow statement. Then I'll select the folder. So here now we are going to create a file which is also the introduction. So introduction, so we say introduction.cpp, which is the extension for C++. Okay, so each and every program we said will be starting with hashtag include iostream to accept both input and output, which is C in and C out. And then we'll be using namespace standard, so namespace std, which also has end line, C in, C out, and so on. Then each and every program should have a function, the main function, which is this. So since we are from discussing about functions, you understand how functions operate. Now let's talk about wow statements. Okay, so in wow statements we are going to start with wow statement itself, then we are going to do wow statements. Okay, so this is the comment. I'll say wow statement. So we are starting off with wow statements. So I'll take you back when we discussed about for loops. Let me take you back to for loops first. So I'll say for loop. So in for loops we said, okay, imagine if I wanted to use a for loop, let me say to count from 1 to 10. Yeah, to count from 1 to 10, I would simply need to say for, then each and every for loop we say, for example, if you have a variable which is I, so I'm saying int because I said I want to count from 1 to 10. So I would say int I, and then, so since we are saying I want to count up to 10, we say I is equals to 0 or 1. Let me just use 1. And then I is less than or equal to 10. I want to count from 1 to 10. Okay, and then that I should increment like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So after we do that, we can just say C out, like what are we printing. So if I say C out I, it's more like I'm printing I. Okay, C out I, I'm printing I, then I end the line like that. So this program just looks like simple. Yeah, it looks simple. So control S to save, but let's see what's the meaning behind this. So the name of our file, it's return introduction. So say g++ introduction.cpp. So output file, let me just say let me say for loop statement. Okay, so I'm going to run that executable file. So as you can see, it has managed to count from 1 and then up to 10, because here it's running like it's counting a loop. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. We are saying we start at 1, then it should be less than or equal to 10. Okay, so we are saying it should be incrementing. Since it's 1, the value be 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So it's now equal to 10, but not exceeding 10. So we're saying let's print out that. So we're having this. Okay, so what if we wanted to say now let's add these values, which are 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, to give us the sum. Okay, so for that we could have included a variable which is sum. Okay, so sum should be equal to 0, because we don't really know what's the sum at this particular point. So here you can give this statement to say sum is equal to, okay, so say sum plus equal to I. Okay, so what that means is that since sum is 0 and I is starting at 1, it will be, oh, so by the way, this simply means, so it's the same as sum is equal to sum plus I. So that's the meaning. So when I say sum plus equal to I, it's more like sum is equal to sum plus I. So if our sum was 0, and if the value for sum is 0, to be 0 plus I, since I is 1, it will be 0 plus 1, which is 1. We keep that value. So now sum has become 1. So if I is now 2, it will be 1 plus 2, which is 3. So now sum is 3. Okay, so sum now be 3 plus the next value for I, which is 2, which is 5. Now sum is 5. So sum will be 5 plus 3, which is the next value for I, which is now 8. So up to 10, that's the meaning. So now to print out that for the user to see, we say cout, what are we printing out? So we can say sum of the sum of 1 to 10 is equal to, since our program is going up to 10, so say is equals to sum, because that's what we're doing the value for the sum. So if we say Control S and we run back our program by saying g++ whatsoever, then we run this file, you realize that the sum will be equal to 55, because it has added all these values from 1 to 10. So if I come to my calculator for us to prove, we are going to add everything. So we have 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 plus 9 plus 10. So that's the value you're seeing, 55. So I've talked about this deliberate tree because we want to understand how while statements work. So coming back to our statements, so let's use that same concept we are just from doing with for loops. Let me say I want to print out numbers from 1 to 10. I need to have a variable such as I. Of course, I'll say int I is equal to, so let's give it a value. If it's 1, for example, in for loops we say I is equals to 1, so here we have said 1 again. So the syntax for while is we just say while, then square brackets, then inside we give not square brackets but just brackets. So inside we give a condition. So a condition, you need to call out your variable. We say I is less than or equal to 10, since here we're dealing with 10 at the moment. Then now it's up to you to include these curly braces if you want to put your formulas or any conditions. So since I just want to display this value from 1 up to 10, I'll just say cout I. Okay, once I say cout I, I'll end the line like that. So our program is done. I'll just say Control S to save. Then let me go back on my terminal. So this time around I'll say G++. So this is the name of our program. Then the output file will be while statement. Okay, while statement, just like that, while statement. So if I run this while statement, in just a minute, let me do this. Where is the mistake? Why is it just running? Okay, so cout, so I is equal to 1, I is less than or equal to 10, cout. Alright, so since we have this and it's just printing I, we need to consider one thing here. Let's say I is equal to I plus 1. Why am I saying this? Is because I know the value for I is already 1. So if I is already 1, if I say plus 1, it will be 2. The next time I say plus 1, it will be 3. It will be incrementing, more like the same thing we did during the for loop. So no wonder we had the mistake there. So if I come back and run this, we will realize that, oh, the program, why is it saying permission denied? Let me see. Just a minute. Control S. Why permission denied? Alright, let's just get rid of that file. Okay, cannot remove. Alright, let me just pause the video. I see what's wrong. Okay, so I'm sure the program is just running somewhere, so let's just create another file. with the different output name, just say wow. So let's run this executable file. So as you can see, it's counting from 1 to 10, but we can also rewrite this statement as I plus equal to 1, meaning I is equal to I plus 1. So that's the meaning. We can also write it in that way. So once it's done, you can save by saying Ctrl S, and then again. What's wrong now? So each and every time I do something, having something wrong. Anyway, right. So yeah, so it can be written in this format whereby you can say I plus equal to 1, which means I is equals to I and then plus 1. So if you learn that program, let me use this same name, and then we execute it to count up to 10 from 1 to 10. Okay, so what if we wanted to also print out the sum like we did with the for loop? We can simply come up with a variable which is sum. Then we need to make sure that it's 0, and then here we can say sum. Okay, and then here we put I, which is the same as sum is equal to sum plus I. Remember, we said I was supposed to be I plus 1, like that. So let's see what will happen here now. So if we see out this particular sum, if we give a comment sum of 1 to 10 is equal to, so here remember we're talking about the sum, and then we end the line. So if we want to do that, we can try to learn, we see if we have no errors. So we need to expect a 55. So and before I explain, I'm trying to run this quickly as possible so that we see. In just a minute. Okay. Okay, so this is what we can do. We just don't get rid of this. So here we are meaning that, so by the way, I need to put these things like the real meanings behind this. A while is just like a statement which needs to have a condition to execute while something is true. Okay, so if we say I is less than or equal to 10, it means this statement can only execute if the value for I is equal to 10 or less than that. So that's the meaning. So here I'm just trying to make you understand the basics for the while and the for loops before we even started the while. So let's try to understand the do while. Okay. So before we end the while, let me just give another example. What if we wanted to find the sum, but the users are the ones inputting those values? Since we had values from 1 to 10 by ourselves, but the program was inserting those values, or the programmer, what if the users wanted to add random numbers or unknown numbers? Let me say if in my mind I want to add 10, 50, 60, 80, 90, 100. So I need to write a program which is like that. So since I need to add random numbers, I can just give an integer name which is numbers. Okay. Then here we'll say, since we're talking about wow, I'll say wow. So we put brackets. Now the condition should be cin. Why? Because cin is accepting the input. So the input are those for the numbers which the user will be inserting. Okay. So once we receive those numbers, we don't know how many numbers we have. We just need now to display the sum. Okay. So remember, we don't have the sum here, so we can say int sum is equal to, or we can say plus equal to numbers, like we've discussed. So here we are simply, so let me do this. Let me put the sum here, int sum. Okay. So what we mean by this, we are simply saying sum is equal to sum plus numbers. Okay, plus numbers. So imagine if I've entered, okay, let me first see out, we print the sum. So say sum is equal to the sum again, because we want to know the sum. Okay, so imagine if I want to enter these numbers such as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me say I've entered these numbers. So this is what will happen. Since this sum is equal to 0, let me say the sum is equal to 0. Since the sum is equal to 0, it will be 0 plus the first number I've entered. Okay. So again, it will capture this number such as 1. The answer will be 1. So it will be 1 plus the next value, which is 2, to give me 3. Then it will capture that 3 plus this coming number, which is 3, to be 6. Now it will add this 4 to be 10. Then this to be 15. So that is what will be happening. So Ctrl S to save. So I'll go on my terminal, then I'll say new terminal. So since I'm talking about, so I'll say we are still looking at the wow. Okay, let me just use this same thing. So we are alright. Let me just use another thing. So say G++, then the name of the file is introduction.cpp. So output file, we can say, let me say unknown numbers. Let's execute that unknown numbers. So now it's allowing us to enter something. So here we can start with, I gave an example of 1, then have 2, then have 3, then have 4, then have 5. So for you to end this program, once you have done importing the values, you can simply say Ctrl C or Ctrl Z, because if you say Ctrl Z, this Z here is not an integer because we said int. So it will allow us to end this program by saying enter, and it has said the sum is equal to 15. So if you remember, at first I said 15 because 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 3 is 6, plus 4 10, plus 5 15. Okay, so for this program to look more professional, here we can say, just here, we can give a comment to say cout enter numbers you want to add. So Control Z once done, and press enter. Okay, so we've told the user what to do. So if we come back to this program, we are going to see enter numbers you want to add. Control Z once done and press enter. So we can go with these numbers such as maybe 6 pin, 66, 78, 4. Then okay, I'm done. Control Z, then enter. So it will give me the correct answer like that. Okay, so this is how we can understand while statements. Now let's talk about do while. Okay, so here we want to talk about do while statements. So one important thing is to understand the syntax of something. Okay, so do while will say, we've learned about functions so far. We've learned about functions. So let me use that. Imagine we have two functions. Okay, we have two functions, one to add and the other to multiply. Okay, so I'll say int add. So this is the function to add. Then let me say we just want to add two variables such as x and y. So we want to add these two variables. So here I'm not explaining that because we explained that in the previous video. So I just want to explain how the do while operates. So we have this function to add, and then we have this function to multiply. Okay, this function to multiply, like that. So a do while operates in this manner. So let me say of a choice. So I'll say int choice. I want to make a choice for this particular program. Okay, so this is the syntax of a do while. We'll say do, then we'll follow up the curly braces, then at the end we say wow. So this is the syntax for wow, if you can remember. So this is a do wow. So inside this do wow, we are going to now do this whole thing, which is the, so imagine of variables such as the first number and the second number, okay, and then I'm saying cout. So here we are telling the user to enter the first and second number, and then here we'll link the input for the first number and then second number. Okay, so once that is done, we can make use of this particular choice. I know we haven't started looking at if statements, but let me just make use of if statements. Have we talked about if statements? Okay, not yet. So let me just explain on that. So here we can give a statement to say place 1 to add, okay, because if we press 1 we need to add, then if we say press 2 to multiply, we'll be multiplying. Okay, so we want to add, then here we'll give a statement to say press 2 to multiply. Okay, so we want to multiply, then we end the line. Then 3 we say press 3 to exit in case you are done with the program. So all these are linked to the choice we are going to create. Okay, so we are going to say cin choice. Why? Because everything is going to be linked to this choice. So let's come to if statements. If statement. So here I'm going to explain about if statements, the way they operate. So I'm sure this video is also going to cover if statements, but I'll create a separate video for if statements. Okay, so I'm going to say if. So if statements are like this, you say if, then brackets. So if you give a condition, so if this choice is equal to 1, so equal to is more like is equivalent to. So if choice is equivalent to 1, what should we do? Remember we said if it's equal to 1 we add, so we need to get an output to an answer. Once we add, we say int answer. So what's the answer we'll get if we add? So remember we need So we need to call out this function which is performing addition. So we are going to say add, because that's the name for that function. So here they are saying int x, and int x is representing the first number. So say first number, then comma, we have int y. So int y is representing the second number. We are going to say second number, and then we are done. So we are going to see out and say sum is equal to, so since here we're expecting the answer, we'll say answer and then end the line like that. So we've made a statement say if choice is equivalent to 1, we need to add. So those two values which will be entered by the user will be added with this function. Okay, so basically this video is covering for functions, if statements, and while statements. Okay, so since we have multiple statements for if, we will now say else. So else if choice is equivalent to 2, what should we do? So for 2 we said multiply. Okay, for 2 we said multiply. So the function to multiply is mul. So we are going to call out that function using this, which is mul for that function. Then it's saying int x, which was the first number, so we are going to say first number. Then it's saying int y, which was second number. Then we are done. Then we see out the particular answer by saying multiplication answer is equal to, so we end the line like that. Then lastly, we had the other option which was saying press 3 to exit. Okay, so we don't need if statements for that. We are going to make use of this while. So while choice, okay, that choice we were making is not equal to 3. Okay, so this exclamation mark and equal sign, it means not equal to. So exclamation mark and equal sign means not equal to 3. So if the value is equal to 3, it means the program will end or will exit, because we said it should be not equal to 3. You get the point. So let's Control S, then we see how the program is performing. So here you say G++, name of our file, introduction.cpp, then output file we're going to say do wow. So this is a do wow. So let's run that do wow. So it's saying enter the first and second number. So let me say I have 4 and 4. Okay, so press 1 to add. So if I press 1, it will be 4 plus 4, which is 8. So it has said sum is equal to 8. Okay, enter the first and second number. Let me use 3 and then 3. So press 2 to multiply. So if I press 2, it will be 9. So multiplication answer is equals to, so let me see where's the problem. Let me see, we have multiplication. Oh, so here we forgot to put the answer. We are supposed to say answer like that. So Ctrl S to save that program. Let me just end this. Okay, now we can go back. So I had forgotten to put the answer there. No wonder it performed. Okay, so let's just create another file, g++ dash o. Then we say, let me call it dual, like that. So let's run that dual. Alright, so enter the first and second number. I was saying 3 and 3, so 2 to multiply, it has said 9. So if I enter maybe 4 and 4, but I don't want to continue this program, I would simply say 3 to exit. So as you can see, the program is done. So what happened there is that the addition was possible because of this function, the multiplication was possible because of this function, and it was linked in this if statement and else statement, which was able to know the sum and the multiplication for that. Then we had the variable to make the choice. So this choice was allowing the user to perform those needed actions, but this do add all the conditions which the user can perform, and the while was saying if this statement is not true, let's do this, we end the program. So that's it for this video. Hope you understood. If you haven't understood, you understand during maybe its application in social network analysis, but basically we've covered the lot right there, and I expect you to do your very best. So we've discussed about functions, while and if statements, but remember, as I said, I'm going to create a video specifically for if statements in C++. Then later on we do application in social network analysis. So this is Soko James representing KMU Cyber Security Tutorials. These are the 2024 to 2025 KMU CYS tutorials online classes. Thank you for watching and enjoy.